Hey everyone. So let's be real for a second. Tearing up an old floor, it just feels like this huge, messy, intimidating project. But what if I told you that ripping out that old laminate flooring is actually way easier than you think? Well, that's what we're going to do today. Let's dive into how you can get it done all by yourself. And hey, you don't have to just take my word for it. A seasoned flooring contractor, James Miller, he puts it perfectly. This quote really sets the stage for us. It looks tough, but trust me, with the right approach, it is completely doable. So what's the big secret here? Why is it so manageable? Well, it's because most laminate flooring isn't actually glued or nailed down to the subfloor. It floats. The planks just click together. And this puzzle piece analogy, it is spot on, because that's exactly what you're going to be doing, taking the puzzle apart piece by giant piece. Okay, before we even think about pulling up a single plank, we gotta talk prep. Because having the right tools on hand is honestly the difference between a smooth afternoon of work and a whole weekend of pure frustration. So let's get you geared up for success. Here are the absolute essentials. And the good news? It's a super basic, really affordable list. Your pry bar is going to be your new best friend for getting that initial lift. You'll need a utility knife, probably for the underlayment, a hammer for some gentle persuasion, and then pliers and a screwdriver for all the little stuff. See? No contractor's van full of gear needed here. All right, a quick but really, really important note on safety. Please, whatever you do, do not skip these items. Work gloves are going to save you from all kinds of splinters and sharp edges. Safety glasses are a total must for flying dust and debris. The dust mask protects your lungs. And trust me on this one, your knees will be screaming for mercy without pads. Seriously, your future self is going to thank you. And hey, for those of you who want to level up your DIY game, here are a few optional helpers. A floor scraper? It can be a huge time saver, especially when you get to the underlayment. A shop vac is fantastic for keeping the dust down as you work. And a moisture meter, that's a really smart move if you suspect any old water damage before you go laying down a new floor. All nice to have, but not a deal breaker if you don't. Okay, tools, check. Safety gear, check. It is time for the main event. Let's walk through this whole process, step by step, from that very first pry all the way to a perfectly clean subfloor that's ready for its new life. Prep work is half the battle. So first things first, clear the room out completely. Then protect anything you want to keep, like your baseboards. Now the real first step of removal is prying up those transition strips at the doorways. They're what's locking the whole floor in place. Once they're gone, you just have to find your starting point. Usually it's a wall where the last planks were cut to fit. Think of this as clearing the runway for takeoff. Now, here's the magic trick. Once you get that first row started, the key is to lift each plank at an angle, maybe like 45 degrees, to unhook it from the next one. This metaphor of unzipping a jacket is perfect. It makes the whole thing just feel so intuitive and simple. You just find your rhythm. Angle, lift, and pull. That's it. Okay, hold on. It's really important to know what you're up against. Most of the time, you're going to have that easy click-lock puzzle piece stuff. But if you're unlucky enough to have glued down laminate, well, the job gets a whole lot tougher. It's going to cling to the subfloor and you'll need way more force, maybe even a heat gun, to get it up. So the big takeaway, figure out which type you have before you get too deep into this. Right? So once you're in that groove of lifting planks, the rest of the floor is going to come up pretty darn quickly. After all the planks are gone, you'll see the underlayment. It's usually a thin foam or felt pad. Just pull or scrape that up, and the final step in clearing the floor is to do a detailed sweep for any leftover nails or staples. And that's it. You're down to the bare subfloor. And with that laminate finally gone, you're faced with this one critical question. This is a super important pause in the project. The job is not done yet, not by a long shot, because the health of what's underneath, that is going to determine the success of whatever new floor you put down. So I'm serious, whatever you do, do not skip this inspection. After you've swept and vacuumed really well, just walk the entire floor. I mean, really feel it. Any soft spots, spongy areas, listen for squeaks. If something seems off, you can gently probe it with a screwdriver. And finally, check if it's flat with a straight edge. Skipping this, it's like building a beautiful house on sand. Your new floor just won't last. Of course, no DIY project goes perfectly, right? You're bound to hit a few tricky spots. So let's talk about how to handle those really frustrating areas. The tight corners, the closets, and those planks that just absolutely refuse to cooperate. And here is a fantastic pro tip that solves one of the most common headaches. Trying to wiggle a full-length plank out of a tiny closet is a total nightmare, so don't fight it. The pro move is to just cut the plank into smaller, more manageable pieces with your utility knife or a saw. Work smarter, not harder. I absolutely love this quote because it is so, so true. I guarantee it. In every single project, there will be that one problem plank. Maybe it's a little swollen from some old moisture, or it's just wedged under the trim perfectly. The key here is not to let it get to you. Just accept it, cut it into pieces, and move on. It's a totally normal part of the process. So, you've pulled up all the planks, you've navigated the tricky spots, you've inspected the subfloor. Now for the final, really satisfying step: cleanup. Having a proper disposal plan is the mark of a job that's truly well done, and it leaves you with that beautiful, clean slate. So, what do you do with this big pile of old flooring? Well, you've got a few options. If the planks are still in pretty good shape, think about donating them. For an eco-friendly route, check if a local facility recycles laminate, but definitely call them first. For those really big jobs, renting a small dumpster is a total lifesaver. And for just a single room, you can probably just bundle it up for your regular curbside pickup. And just like that, you're done. You've finished the journey, you did all the heavy lifting, and you have reclaimed your space. So take a second, step back, and just appreciate it. The room is now a bare, clean foundation, and it is absolutely brimming with potential. So we'll leave you with this final thought. You've done the hard part. You've successfully created a completely blank canvas. The only question left is, what kind of masterpiece are you going to create on it next?